Okay, today we're diving into one of the most polarizing stories in tech and finance right now, AST SpaceMobile. They're promising a future that could totally change how we connect, forever. But at the same time, they're flashing some pretty massive warning signs. So, what's the deal? Is this the future of connectivity, or is it a house of cards that's about to come tumbling down? Let's get into it. So, picture this. You're on top of a mountain, maybe out in the middle of the ocean or in a super remote village, and you have a full-blown 5G broadband connection. I'm not just talking about sending a quick text. I mean, video calls, streaming movies, high-speed data, the whole nine yards. That is the fundamental promise of AST SpaceMobile, to just erase dead zones from the map and connect the 5 billion mobile subscribers on the planet totally seamlessly.
And here's the real kicker, the part that makes this so revolutionary. This isn't for some bulky, crazy expensive satellite phone. No, this whole system is designed to connect directly to the normal, everyday smartphone that's probably in your pocket right now. You don't need any special hardware. It's meant to be a truly universal solution. Honestly, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but they've actually proven the tech works. So, what's the problem?
Well, this is it. This is the big one. Right as the company is on the very edge of a critical commercial launch, American Tower Corporation, we're talking a founding partner, a giant in the telecom world, they just dumped 91% of their stake in the company. That kind of move sends shockwaves through the market, And it raises this huge question that really sits at the heart of this entire story. To really figure out what's going on, we've got to look at both sides of the coin. So first, let's dig into the bull case. The powerful argument that AST's SpaceMobile isn't just some ambitious idea, but it's a genuine technological and business marvel that's actually in the making. The secret to all their magic really comes down to this number. The company's Bluebird satellites have this phased array antenna that unfolds once it's in space to be 2,400 square feet. That is the largest commercial communications array ever put into low Earth orbit. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's roughly the size of a singles tennis court just orbiting the Earth. Wild. Now, here's how that giant antenna solves a really fundamental physics problem. Think about it like this. Your phone has a tiny, weak signal. It's like a whisper. And the satellite is hundreds of kilometers away. Trying to connect those two is like trying to hear that whisper from across a packed football stadium. It's pretty much impossible. But ASTS's giant antenna, it acts like a massive, super sensitive ear in space. It's so big, it can actually hear that tiny whisper from your phone and then send a powerful signal right back. That's the secret sauce. That's how they crack the link budget and can actually deliver true broadband speed. And this is where their business model is just absolutely brilliant. Instead of trying to fight the big mobile carriers, AST's partners with them. They've already got deals with giants like AT&T and Verizon, which basically locks up the entire US market. They get to use their partners' existing radio spectrum, which saves them billions in licensing fees. And get this, they have zero customer acquisition costs. AT&T will just sell it as an add-on to your current plan. This strategy gives them instant access to a potential market of almost 3 billion people. It's a massive strategic advantage. Okay, so that all sounds pretty incredible, right? Almost too good to be true. So let's flip the coin. Let's look at the bear case. Why are some really smart people convinced this whole thing is a house of cards, even with all this revolutionary tech? And it all comes back to this company, American Tower. Look, these guys aren't just any investor. They are one of the biggest telecom infrastructure companies on the planet. They literally own and operate the cell towers on the ground. They were an early strategic partner because they saw ASTS as building cell towers in the sky, a natural extension of their own business. They know this industry inside and out. So here's the crucial point. When that company, the one that understands the economics better than anyone, sells its stake right before a make-or-break launch, well, analysts see that as a huge vote of no confidence. This isn't some day trader taking a little profit. This is the ultimate insider, basically saying, we're out. And it forces you to ask some really tough questions. Do they see a flaw in the tech? Do they know about a delay? Or do they just think the risk of failure is way too high? Whatever it is, it's a massive, flashing red flag. And that insider sale, it puts a really harsh spotlight on the company's valuation. As of late 2025, ASTS was trading at a price-to-sales multiple of over 1,000. Let me just say that again, over 1,100. That is an absolutely bonkers number. It's like valuing a kid's neighborhood lemonade stand at the price of a small country. The market has priced this stock not just for success, but for absolute, flawless, world-changing perfection. There is literally zero room for error. And just to put that number in context, just look at this comparison. You've got a mature, profitable satellite company like Iridium trading at around 4 times its sales. Okay, then you have Globalstar, a more niche player but with a big partnership with Apple, trading at about 30 times sales. And then way, way out in its own universe, you have ASTS with almost no commercial revenue, valued orders of magnitude higher. It's not even playing the same game. It's being valued like a paradigm shift, and the expectations are just astronomical. And finally, of course, you've got the competition. We're mainly talking about SpaceX's Starlink here. The race really boils down to this simple trade-off. ASTS clearly wins on bandwidth. They can offer that true broadband for video and data that Starlink's current direct-to-cell service just can't match. But Starlink wins big on availability. They already have thousands of satellites up there providing continuous, even if it's slower, coverage right now. So the race is on. Can ASTS launch enough of its big satellites before Starlink can upgrade its own network? So, you've got this technological marvel on one side and a financial crisis of confidence on the other. This brings us to the final countdown, the period where this entire idea is either going to be proven spectacularly right or disastrously wrong. This is what experts call a binary outcome. And that's a fancy way of saying it's basically a coin flip. It's all or nothing. If ASTS botches a launch or a key deployment fails, the stock could completely collapse under the weight of that crazy valuation. But if they pull it off, they could become a true monopoly in space-based broadband, which would justify a valuation even higher than it is today. And the thing is, we won't have to wait very long to see how this movie ends. The next few months are absolutely everything. That Block 2 satellite launch on December 24th, that's the first huge hurdle. Then, in January, that massive tennis court-sized array has to unfold perfectly. After that, we should see public demos and those all-important validation calls with their partners. Every single one of these is a do-or-die moment for the company. So we're left with this one massive question. Is AST SpaceMobile really building the future of global connectivity, a revolution that will make its current stock price look cheap in hindsight? Or is this a spectacular bubble, just inflated by hype and about to be popped by the harsh reality of execution risk and some very serious insider doubt? The next few months are going to tell us everything.